In recent years, there has been a growing movement to reduce or eliminate the consumption of cow's milk and dairy products in favor of plant-based alternatives. This shift has been driven by various factors, including health concerns, environmental impact, and ethical considerations. In this article, we explore 10 key points that explain why more and more people are choosing to stop drinking milk. Delving into the details of each point to better understand the reasons behind this trend. From lactose intolerance to greenhouse gas emissions, we examine the various factors that have led individuals to reconsider their milk consumption and opt for more sustainable and health-conscious alternatives. 1. Lactose intolerance. Lactose intolerance is a common digestive disorder that affects a significant portion of the world's population. It occurs when an individual's body cannot produce enough lactase, the enzyme responsible for breaking down lactose, a sugar found in milk and other dairy products. When a person with lactose intolerance consumes milk or other lactose-containing products, their body cannot properly digest the lactose. As a result, the lactose remains undigested in the intestines, where it gets fermented by bacteria. This fermentation process leads to the production of gas and other byproducts that can cause a range of gastrointestinal symptoms, including bloating, abdominal pain or cramps, flatulence, diarrhea, nausea. The severity of these symptoms can vary depending on the amount of lactose consumed and the degree of lactase deficiency in the individual. Some people with lactose intolerance can tolerate small amounts of milk or dairy products without experiencing significant symptoms, while others may have a strong reaction even to minimal amounts. The prevalence of lactose intolerance varies widely across different populations and is linked to genetic factors. For example, it is more common among people of East Asian, West African, Arab, and Jewish descent, while populations with a longer history of dairy farming, such as those in Northern Europe, tend to have a lower prevalence of lactose intolerance. To manage lactose intolerance, individuals can choose to consume lactose-free milk and dairy products or opt for alternative sources of calcium and other nutrients typically found in milk, such as plant-based milks, e.g., almond, soy, or oat milk, leafy greens, nuts, and seeds. Additionally, lactase supplements are available to help break down lactose when consuming dairy products. However, some people may choose to stop drinking milk altogether to avoid the uncomfortable symptoms associated with lactose intolerance. 2. Ethical concerns. One reason people choose to stop drinking milk is due to the ethical concerns surrounding the treatment of dairy cows and the conditions in which they live. These concerns can be broadly divided into animal welfare issues and the overall ethics of consuming animal products. Animal welfare issues. Living conditions. On many industrial dairy farms, cows are often confined to small, overcrowded spaces with limited access to natural light, fresh air, or the ability to engage in their natural behaviors. These conditions can be extremely stressful and detrimental to the cow's well-being. Physical alterations. Dairy cows are sometimes subjected to painful procedures without proper pain relief, such as tail docking, dehorning, or castration. These practices can cause unnecessary suffering and distress. Forced impregnation and calf separation. Dairy cows must give birth regularly to continue producing milk. They are often forcibly impregnated, and their calves are typically separated from them shortly after birth. This separation can be emotionally distressing for both the cow and the calf and deprives the calf of its mother's milk. Shortened lifespan. Dairy cows are typically culled when their milk production declines, which is usually around 4 to 6 years of age, despite having a natural lifespan of up to 20 years. They are often sent to slaughter for low-quality meat products. Ethics of consuming animal products. Resource use. Some people argue that using animals for food, including milk production, is an inefficient use of resources. The energy, water, and land required to produce plant-based foods are generally lower than those needed for animal agriculture, including dairy farming. Veganism and compassion. Many individuals adopt a vegan lifestyle, which involves abstaining from all animal products, including milk, due to their belief in compassion for all living beings. They argue that it is unnecessary to consume milk when there are plant-based alternatives available that can provide similar nutrients without the ethical concerns associated with dairy farming. These ethical concerns drive some people to stop drinking milk and seek out alternative sources of nutrition, such as plant-based milks and other dairy substitutes, which do not involve the use of animals and have a lower environmental impact. 3. Environmental impact. Dairy farming has a significant environmental impact, contributing to climate change, deforestation, and water pollution. People who choose to stop drinking milk due to these concerns often seek out more sustainable alternatives, such as plant-based milks. Here is a more in-depth look at the environmental issues associated with dairy farming. Greenhouse gas emissions. Dairy farming is a significant contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, primarily through the production of methane by cows during digestion, enteric fermentation, and from manure decomposition. Methane is a potent greenhouse gas, with a global warming potential approximately 28 times higher than carbon dioxide over a 100-year period. In addition to methane, dairy farming contributes to emissions of nitrous oxide and carbon dioxide through the use of fertilizers and fossil fuels. Deforestation. The production of feed for dairy cows often requires large amounts of land, leading to deforestation, particularly in areas such as the Amazon rainforest, where soybean cultivation for animal feed is a primary driver of deforestation. Deforestation contributes to climate change by releasing carbon stored in trees and reducing the planet's capacity to absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Water pollution. Dairy farming contributes to water pollution through the runoff of manure, fertilizers, and pesticides into waterways. This pollution can lead to the contamination of drinking water, the eutrophication of aquatic ecosystems, and the decline of biodiversity. Additionally, dairy farming requires large quantities of water for cow consumption, cleaning facilities, and irrigation for feed production, potentially contributing to water scarcity in some regions. Biodiversity loss. The expansion of agricultural land for dairy farming and feed production can result in habitat destruction and fragmentation, leading to the decline of biodiversity. Moreover, the use of pesticides and herbicides in feed crop cultivation can negatively impact pollinators and other beneficial insects. 4. Hormones and antibiotics. Some people choose to stop drinking milk due to concerns about the presence of hormones and antibiotics in dairy products, which can potentially have negative health effects on consumers. Here is a more detailed explanation of these concerns. Hormones. Dairy cows are often given hormones, such as recombinant bovine growth hormone, RBGH, or recombinant bovine somatotropin, RBST, to increase milk production. These hormones can end up in the milk that humans consume. Additionally, all milk, whether from cows treated with hormones or not, contains naturally occurring hormones, including estrogen and progesterone. Some studies have suggested that exposure to these hormones in milk may be associated with an increased risk of certain health issues, such as hormonal imbalances, early puberty in children, and hormone-sensitive cancers, e.g., breast, ovarian, and prostate cancers. However, research on this topic remains inconclusive, and more studies are needed to establish a clear link between hormone exposure through milk consumption and these health risks. Antibiotics. Dairy cows are often given antibiotics to prevent or treat infections, such as mastitis, which can occur due to the high demands of milk production. While there are regulations in place to limit the presence of antibiotic residues in milk, trace amounts can still end up in the final product. This has raised concerns about the potential contribution of antibiotic use in dairy farming to the development of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, which poses a significant public health threat. Moreover, some individuals may be allergic to certain antibiotics, and consuming milk containing antibiotic residues could cause an allergic reaction in these individuals. 5. High in saturated fat. Milk, particularly whole milk, contains significant amounts of saturated fat, which has been associated with increased cholesterol levels and a higher risk of heart disease when consumed in excess. Here is a more detailed explanation of the concerns related to saturated fat in milk. Cholesterol and heart disease. Consuming too much saturated fat can raise low-density lipoprotein, LDL, cholesterol levels in the blood. High LDL cholesterol levels are a risk factor for developing heart disease, as it can contribute to the buildup of fatty deposits, plaques, in the arteries, a condition known as atherosclerosis. This can narrow and stiffen the arteries, reducing blood flow and increasing the risk of heart attack or stroke. Types of milk and fat content. The fat content of milk varies depending on the type of milk consumed. Whole milk has the highest fat content, with approximately 3.25% milk fat, while reduced fat, 2%, low fat, 1%, and fat-free, skim, milk have progressively lower amounts of fat. The majority of the fat in milk is saturated fat, making up around 70% of the total fat content. Balancing fat intake. It is important to balance fat intake as part of a healthy diet. The American Heart Association recommends that adults aim to consume less than 10% of their daily calories from saturated fat. For individuals who consume a lot of dairy products or have a higher risk of heart disease, opting for low-fat or fat-free milk and dairy products can help manage their saturated fat intake. 6. Alternatives available. The availability of various plant-based milk alternatives is another reason some people choose to stop drinking milk. These alternatives can provide similar nutrients without the potential health risks or ethical concerns associated with dairy milk. Here is a more in-depth look at some popular plant-based milk alternatives and their benefits. Almond milk. Made from ground almonds and water, almond milk is a low-calorie, low-fat option with a mild, nutty flavor. It is often fortified with vitamins and minerals, including calcium and vitamin D, to provide similar nutritional benefits to cow's milk. Almond milk is a suitable choice for those looking for a lighter, lower-calorie milk substitute. Soy milk. Soy milk is made from whole soybeans or soy protein isolate and is a popular dairy milk alternative due to its creamy texture and high protein content. It is a good source of complete protein, containing all the essential amino acids, and is often fortified with vitamins and minerals. Soy milk is ideal for those who want a plant-based milk with a higher protein content. Oat milk is made from whole oat groats, steel-cut oats, or oat flour mixed with water. It has a creamy texture and a slightly sweet flavor, making it a popular choice for coffee and lattes. Oat milk is a good source of fiber, particularly beta-glucan, which has been shown to have cholesterol-lowering effects. It is also often fortified with vitamins and minerals. Oat milk is an excellent option for those who want a milk alternative with a creamy texture and added fiber. Coconut milk is made from the grated flesh of mature coconuts mixed with water. It has a rich, creamy texture and a distinct coconut flavor. While coconut milk is higher in saturated fat than other plant-based milks, it contains medium-chain triglycerides, MCTs, which may have potential health benefits, such as promoting weight loss and improving brain function. Coconut milk is a suitable choice for those who enjoy the taste of coconut and are not concerned about the higher saturated fat content. 7. Allergies and sensitivities. Cow's milk is one of the most common food allergens, especially among children, and some people may experience sensitivities or intolerances to milk proteins, even if they do not have a full-blown allergy. Here is a more detailed explanation of milk allergies and sensitivities. Milk allergy. A milk allergy occurs when the immune system reacts to one or both of the proteins found in cow's milk, casein and whey. Symptoms of a milk allergy can vary in severity and may include skin reactions, e.g., hives, rashes, digestive issues, e.g., vomiting, diarrhea, and respiratory problems, e.g., wheezing, coughing. In some cases, a severe allergic reaction called anaphylaxis can occur, which can be life-threatening if not treated promptly. Milk allergies are more common in children, with an estimated 2 to 3% of infants and young children affected. While many children outgrow their milk allergy, some may continue to experience it into adulthood. Milk protein sensitivity. Some individuals may experience sensitivities or intolerances to milk proteins without having a true allergy. This can result in symptoms similar to those of lactose intolerance, such as bloating, gas, diarrhea, and abdominal discomfort. One example of milk protein sensitivity is non-IgE-mediated cow's milk protein intolerance, which is more common in infants and usually resolves by the age of 3. 8. Connection to acne and skin health. Some people choose to stop drinking milk due to concerns about its potential effects on skin health, particularly its association with acne. Here is a more detailed explanation of the connection between milk consumption and acne. Hormones and growth factors. Cow's milk contains hormones and growth factors, such as insulin-like growth factor 1, IGF-1, which have been suggested to contribute to the development of acne. IGF-1 is known to promote the production of sebum, an oily substance produced by the skin, and increase the proliferation of skin cells, both of which can contribute to clogged pores and the formation of acne. Inflammation. Dairy products, including milk, have been associated with increased levels of inflammation in the body. Inflammation can contribute to acne by promoting the production of sebum and exacerbating the redness and swelling associated with acne lesions. Glycemic index. Cow's milk has a relatively high glycemic index, which means it can cause a rapid increase in blood sugar levels. High glycemic foods have been linked to an increased risk of developing acne, as they can trigger the release of insulin and other hormones that promote inflammation and sebum production. Research on the connection between milk consumption and acne is still ongoing, and not all studies have found a strong link between the two. However, some individuals may notice an improvement in their skin health when they stop drinking milk or reduce their consumption of dairy products. Plant-based milk alternatives, such as almond, soy, oat, or coconut milk, do not contain the hormones and growth factors found in cow's milk and may be a suitable option for those concerned about the potential effects of milk on their skin health. It is essential to note that individual responses to dietary changes can vary, and what works for one person may not work for another. In addition to diet, factors such as genetics, hormonal imbalances, and skincare routines can also play a role in the development of acne. 9. Ethical concerns and animal welfare. Some people choose to stop drinking milk due to ethical concerns and animal welfare issues associated with the dairy industry. Here is a more detailed explanation of these concerns. Living conditions. In some industrial dairy farms, cows may be kept in confined spaces with limited access to pasture, which can lead to stress and health problems. The living conditions of dairy cows can vary greatly depending on the farm, with some providing more humane and sustainable environments than others. Separation of calves. Dairy cows must give birth in order to produce milk. In the dairy industry, calves are often separated from their mothers within hours or days after birth, which can be distressing for both the cow and her calf. The male calves are typically raised for veal or beef production, while the female calves are raised to become dairy cows. Forced breeding. Dairy cows are often subjected to repeated cycles of artificial insemination to maintain consistent milk production. This can result in physical stress on the cows and shorten their natural lifespan. A cow's natural lifespan is around 20 years, but many dairy cows are culled from the herd and sent to slaughter by the age of 5 to 6 years due to a decline in milk production or health issues. Tail docking and dehorning. Some dairy farms still practice tail docking and dehorning, which involve removing a cow's tail or horns, respectively. These procedures can be painful for the animals and are often done without anesthesia. 10. Environmental impact. Some people choose to stop drinking milk due to concerns about the environmental impact of the dairy industry. Dairy farming has been associated with a range of environmental issues, including greenhouse gas emissions, water usage, and land degradation. Here is a more detailed explanation of these concerns. Greenhouse gas emissions. Dairy farming contributes to greenhouse gas emissions through various processes, such as enteric fermentation, digestive processes in cows that produce methane, manure management, and the production and transport of feed. Methane is a potent greenhouse gas, having a warming effect 28 times greater than that of carbon dioxide over a 100-year period. The dairy industry is responsible for a significant portion of global methane emissions. Water usage. Dairy farming requires a substantial amount of water, not only for the cows to drink but also for growing feed crops, cleaning milking parlors, and processing milk. The water footprint of cow's milk is estimated to be around 1,000 liters of water per liter of milk produced. This high water usage can put pressure on water resources, particularly in regions where water scarcity is a concern. Land degradation and deforestation. The production of feed crops for dairy cows requires large amounts of land, which can lead to deforestation and land degradation. Additionally, overgrazing and intensive farming practices can contribute to soil erosion and loss of biodiversity. In some cases, the expansion of dairy farming has been linked to the destruction of natural habitats and the displacement of local communities.